I have known you as someone who decided I'm going to be a stand-up comic and then decided to give his everything to that goal.
I just felt this genuine urge to make people laugh.
When I spoke to you just recently, I felt like I'm talking to a completely different person.
Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a strength. I found out at the age of 33 that I'm dyslexic. I didn't know. I went through a lot of unfortunate incidents in my life. Trigger warning. I was raped as a teenager.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
I get up on stage today and I talk about child molestation and things that happen to children.
I need a moment.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hi, this is Karishma, and before we present to you our next episode number 11 of Hey Karish, I thought we'd share with you a little bit of insight into what goes on, into making these episodes. So all of our guests pretty much have been friends, people we've known from before, and the conversations therefore are organic, free-flowing. There's no script there. Just a few mental points that I have that I know I want to touch upon. But today's episode is the correct logical progression of something that starts off as free-flowing conversation, wherein I myself was surprised with some of the points that came out of these conversations today. And before we share that with you, I want you to know that we leave these conversations unedited, raw, unfiltered, so that the story can be told as it is, because we do believe in the power of storytelling, and these are incredible stories of real people. So today's episode, we really hope you're going to watch it all the way to the end, and there is some sensitive content in there. It is for mature audiences, and we do hope that by the time you get to the end of this episode, there will be something positive that you're going to take away from it.
Hello and welcome to another episode of this show where I get to introduce you to people that I have met along the way on my journey in media here in the UAE. And today I have a very, very special guest who put a very big smile on my face with a very specific message that he sent to me a few days ago. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, to meet Nitinn.
Hey Cash. 2 words every Sindhi loves saying. Hey Cash. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, Nitinn. Welcome to our home. Welcome to the show.
Love the house, love the 2 doggies, and what a beautiful place.
Thank you. Nitinn, I have known you for a while. We've known each other. And to introduce you to people who are probably getting to know you through this, YouTube episode somehow, you're a stand-up comic. And I have known you as someone who decided I'm going to be a stand-up comic and then decided to give his everything to that goal.
Yeah.
Today you are an established comedian. You've been on stage hundreds of times, if not more.
Yeah. Thousands, actually.
Thousands, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you have an incredible journey and a story that you are here to share.
Of course.
Which it makes me very, very happy that you're here doing this today.
Absolute pleasure. And like I said, thank you so much for having me. Dubai has been home for me. Being a typical Sindhi guy growing up, I couldn't get into textile market. I didn't understand business. I did everything possible. I sold French fries. I sold real estate. I sold credit cards. I was a choreographer, photographer. I was doing events with ZTV. And then one day I still remember I was sitting in my office, and what happened was ZTV stopped doing local content. And I remember my boss saying ki abhi ye band ho gaya hai, but just come to the office, do. So I was just there all the time, and then one day I just had enough. So I just typed my resignation, walked out saying that I want to be a stand-up comedian. And it was a leap of faith. 10 minutes after I did that, I was banging my head on my steering wheel in Media City outside building number 8 saying, "Maine ye kya kar diya?" But I think that leap of faith is what I needed to sort of push myself into a very unknown territory. And yeah, here we are, almost 15 years later.
I was going to ask you just now, how old were you then?
I'm 45 now, so yeah.
So 30, around 30?
A little bit more than that, because I think most of the creative people are. I was a very, very big introvert while growing up. मैं अलग था with my choices of food, with my choices of sports. लोग cricket देखते हैं, मैं rugby देखता था. And so I was not very easily accepted. And then somehow I got up on stage, and by not being accepted by 2 people or 3 people, and then suddenly being accepted by 200 people, So that when I got वो कहते हैं ना खून लग गया.
Yeah, you
when I got a
tasted
taste
it.
of that, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, they like this guy, and I said, okay, let's go ahead with that, and yeah, the journey's been amazing so far.
All right. So there's many things that I want to know.
Yes.
Okay. To start off with, you were born and raised in Dubai.
Yeah.
So which neighborhood in Dubai?
Mankul,
Which is the heartland.
OG, Mankul, Meena Bazaar,
What school did you go to?
Indian high school.
Of course.
Again,
All right.
OG.
OG.
Yeah.
So did you perform at Indian high school at any point?
Weirdly enough, I was, I think around 4 years back, they reached out to me. They wanted to put me on the Hall of Fame, IHS.
Nice.
I was a shit student. So I called them back and I said, hey guys, can you double check if it's the right Nitin Mirani? Because I was not a very good, I was a bad student. Like, मेरे को समझ नहीं आया. And then they're like, no, we've been following your work and we want you to come and speak to the kids.
Wow.
So I said, if I enter that school and I speak to the kids won't be the same. So let's forget not speaking to the kids, because in general, I am, what's the word I'm looking for? Not against, but I don't agree with, unfortunately, the few traditions that we follow
The
in terms
system.
in terms of parenting, in terms of schooling, in terms of generally. So I said, I will not do that, because if I come in there, I want to speak like who I am, and it won't be right. It will be against your system. So they said, that's fine, just we'll put you on the Hall of Fame. I said, yeah, that's great.
So fantastic. Well, that means that we're walking down in Indian high school and we'll see you up on one of those walls
Yeah,
there.
hopefully they have a good photo, not one of those Aadhaar card photos.
So you don't send a photo, they pick from the internet.
हाँ उठा लेते हैं यार उठा लेते हैं.
चलो,
It's
that's-
IHS किसी की नहीं सुनता है. It's
किसी
fine.
की नहीं सुनता.
If I call my dad now, after so many years, he'll still say कि तू क्या कर रहा है यार?
Really?
छोड़ दे, just open a shop in Meena Bazaar. So I realized that in general, they just wanted me to do well.
Right.
Comedy was not a career option. It was not a career, to be honest. And so they didn't get it initially. Being a Sindhi, my mom was just happy getting complimentary passes for everything. She's like, oh my God, we're getting complimentary passes, you have made it. But in general, I in hindsight, now that after so many years, I understand that they didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. But I just felt this genuine urge to make people laugh.
When was the first time? Because you said and I know you actually from your, the jobs you've done.
Yeah.
Is how I know you. So at what point did you decide that, no, it's going to be stand-up comedy for me? When was that?
So I think there have been, historically, if I break down my life, I have been disrupting. So every time I've sort of done well is when I've disrupted a pattern. Initially, when I sort of, left my job, and there was a big disruption for me because I said, ab dekha jayega. Abhi meko, I need to get up on stage and I need to, just do things. So I still remember there was a place called Jimmy Dick's, if you remember that club.
Yes.
Movenpick.
Yes.
Now it's called Opus. And I opened a show for a comedian called Jeff Mirza. He's a comedian from UK.
Okay.
And a very dear friend of mine, Basit Qureshi. He invited me to sort of open for this guy. And I was just starting off with comedy. So his idea was that if I go up, I might not do well. So if I bomb,
he's going to be great.
He's going to be much better than whatever I do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him and everybody, I killed. And City 1016 was one of the sponsors, actually. I think
that's the radio station that I work at. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys were actually one of the sponsors for an event. And I killed. And I killed so well that the next event, which I was opening for Sunil Grover, he's my Janeman.
He's the Sunil Grover.
The Sunil Grover,
Guthi.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Guthi. And I saw Guthi then.
When he was Palak.
When he was still pushing it, when he was trying things out. I just felt ki the comedian side was very easily accepted by people.
Right, okay.
And like I said, I just went with it, and I genuinely have a urge to make people laugh. I just feel that it's a gift,
right?
But it's not for me. So it's for others.
So a few days ago, you sent me a message saying that you had watched this show,
Yes.
Hey Karish, and that you'd like to come and share a very specific story here with us as well. And that's when we got on the phone and we caught up to everything that's happened.
Yeah.
So the Nitin Mirani that I knew was, let me tell you, back in the day was doing well, the who's who of Dubai knows you and you know them.
Yes,
So whether it's Raza Beg or whether
Yeah.
it's anyone
Their
really,
family,
ITP
yes.
Publishing,
Yeah.
there's everyone that's organizing these big events. Top of the mind is Nitin Mirani. Of course, we're going to get Nitin Mirani. So you're pretty much a mainstay here in the Dubai circuit. But, when I spoke to you, or just recently now in this last week when we've connected again, I felt like I'm talking to a completely different person. I felt like there is great amount of relatability now when I'm talking to you. You've always been nice, but it's and I'm going to be honest. And you can
Be
tell me if
blunt.
I'm wrong.
Of course.
Yeah, call me out if I'm wrong. But there's a networking nice.
Yeah.
And there's a just nice without any agenda.
Just nice. I like that.
Just nice. Huh? Just because
Decent.
we can be nice.
Yeah.
So I love this. I love who I'm meeting today. This person feels like someone that has evolved, has seen ups and downs,
Yeah.
and has had life happen to him.
Yeah.
And then not only have you, because life can deal us lemons, that happens. And sometimes we can, voluntarily go into a big bush of lemons ourselves. But either which way, what we do with that is what matters.
Of course.
So
of course.
I'm very proud of what you've done with it.
And likewise, I mean, I've been following your journey as well, and I've told this to you. I have a huge amount of respect for people who, come to the city, make it their own, and just work so hard. So really, like from the bottom of my heart, like I said, I told you yesterday that I'm very proud of you being a voice, and you finding yourself, and vulnerability is not a weakness, is a strength. And that's who we are. We are vulnerable, we are here. We can't pull back with who we are and how we feel. I've tried, you've been here long enough as well. But our DNA is, we can't fail. Failure is not in our DNA. हम जुगाड़ करके
We're resilient.
हाँ हम कर लेंगे.
We'll bounce back.
हम कर लेंगे. So that's why, like I said, I have a lot of respect for everybody who does that. I used to judge probably around many years ago, but I just realized that I was just doing it to be part of the clique, to sort of have the conversations, be part of conversations. Yesterday I was watching on my flight in Raju Srivastav, one of my favorite comedians. God bless his soul. There's a line that one of the ladies said कि कुछ लोग उस दौर में पैदा होते हैं और कुछ लोग दौर को जन्म देते हैं. So now my journey is, to be just out there being myself and just speak. And it took many years, like you, to understand that people do want to listen. There is an audience for no matter what you say. And once you're out there, you realize कि अरे ये तो हमारे जैसे हैं. This is me.
Yeah.
And I think there's no greater gift to be able to sort of, create that connection.
All right. Now, after that build up, let's deep dive into.
Let's do it.
All right. The
Comment,
crux of our
sure.
story. So now take us down the path of what's followed when you've decided to move to Mumbai.
So Mumbai was it's a different genre. It's a different beast altogether. The people are different, and the lifestyles are different. The temperament is different. The patience is different. I always say that, I'm not saying it out of, any sort of promotion, but I love Dubai. I love Dubai so much. It's given a home to so many people. And the thing is, but Dubai, we are very protected.
Yes.
We have our own circle and all that stuff. And when you move to India, it's alag hi chal raha hai.
You're fully exposed to everything out there.
Everything. There is no filter.
Yes.
There are times where you will just walk out of the house and people will say some things and you're like, how can this person say that?
Yeah.
But it's normal.
Yeah.
So the switch, of course, to Mumbai was, so I fell in love. And I have always followed love. With whatever I do. Of course, we're not together, but I sort of moved to Mumbai for love. And I just said, ki chalo karte hain, and acting followed and all that stuff. So it was more like a motivation for me to move there. And of course, I started doing my comedy, started doing clubs, started performing at corporate events, weddings, doing all that. Because I think in Mumbai, आप एक चीज नहीं कर सकते.
Yeah.
आपको सब करना है.
Yeah. It's all hustle all the way, right?
हाँ. It's out there कि आप
Yeah.
ये कर सकते हैं तो आप बोलो हाँ कर लेंगे. फिर बाद में सोचो कि कैसे करेंगे.
Correct.
So I learned that also from Mumbai. And then, unfortunately, there was an incident that sort of happened earlier in my career where it was not very pleasant. Of course, take full responsibility. I was not responsible with the art form. I was under pressure to deliver. And unfortunately, us pressure mein main thoda, I faltered. And that for me was a downhill. I think the rabbit hole opened and took me in. And I was trolled. I was bullied for my choices, for my decision to do what I was doing, which honestly, I don't blame anybody. I think what I got, I absolutely deserved. But the way it happened, it was not right. So eventually, I just stood up for, being against the bullying, not being against what happened. Yeah, and then of course, lots of therapy happened and lots of introspection, finding motivation, all of that happened. And I sort of disappeared for 2 years.
Just for clarity and just so no one here gets the wrong idea.
Yeah.
I think we should I suggest we mention what had happened so that no one walks away thinking something worse happened.
Oh, no. नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. So basically, I was, unfortunately for me, I was involved with something related to plagiarism of jokes. Even though in my defense, it was a completely different context, but they didn't care. They saw somebody riding a wave and they said, oh, let's bring this person down. Like I said, unfortunately, I was not responsible enough to understand that ye nahi karna chahiye. You sort of, like I said, there's a lot of pressure you feel when you're performing so many gigs and people expect new jokes, people expect new things within a span of 40 minutes.
Really?
Like I did a gig in Jumeirah.
Yeah.
And the next gig is at Raza's place, for example. Same people, but they expect different jokes. They expect things. And this is a pressure a lot of people feel. To sort of deliver and impress everybody. And you're in the same boat as well. People expect कि आप हर segment में कुछ you be a different cash. वो होता नहीं है. And I was not, what happened was, मेरी जो कहते हैं ना जो नींव, that came from desperation. Being an introvert child.
Yeah.
Suddenly when I found this,
वो
कहते हैं ना कि वो मेरी आंखें चुंधिया गई.
Yeah.
कि अरे यार ये तो मतलब really they like this Nitinn.
You liked being liked.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't know where I was. Many a times I would not be able to understand. I would question myself, why are they liking it so much? Why are they? Yeah. But I just went with the thing because, so I found out at the age of 33 that I'm dyslexic properly. I didn't know. I was, I went through a lot of unfortunate incidents in my life. Trigger warning. I was raped as a teenager. Not molested, raped. There's a story to that also. So
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. Am I hearing this right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the journey for me was very interesting because मैं पहले ही कम बोलता था. And ये हुआ. Then it was again downhill. And you just realize that कि यार ये हो क्या रहा है? यार कोई accept नहीं कर रहा है. And then आपको थोड़ा सा acceptance जब मिलता है, you go like चलो यार सब छोड़ दो. But यही. So I became this person who I would not show, like this side of me.
Yeah.
This is me.
This is you.
This is me.
When people don't know this you.
People don't know. And I think I didn't even show it to them because yaar kya bhi kaun? Like how we are. If you ask somebody how are you, if you really tell them how you are, they panic. So I'm great, you're great, I'm great. Like we live in a world where they answer the question for you. How are you, Baba? Good? Chalo, take care. I'm like, yaar, mujhe answer dene do.
Yeah.
So, there was this whole wave of, and I would say unfortunate incidents because after a lot of therapy, I realized that it was not my fault, but as a person who I am now, I talk about it very openly because, for people watching as well, I want them to know that you need to take the power away from what is outside. Bring the power back to you. It will be a struggle. It's going to be very, very, long in terms of understanding, and I am so pro therapy. I'm requesting people, please, going to a therapist is like a workout for the mind. You go to the gym, right?
Yeah.
So it's a workout for your mind. Do not listen to people कि therapy कर रहा है, पागल हो गया है, इसका दिमाग खराब है. Please go. Please go. Some people are built differently. I was built differently. You know, if you put me on stage, मैं बहुत बोलता हूँ. Recently, Dave Chappelle's mother, when he won the Mark Twain Prize, he said something so beautiful that you have to portray and be the lion you are outside, so you can actually be the lamb that you really are. So show yourself as a lion, so you can be the lamb. And you know, that's pretty much you know how I sort of approached it many years later. And don't worry about what people will say. You know, how people will judge you. Just get out there and speak, because there's so many of them who, like, when I started talking, of course I can't give you names, but there are people that we know who are now in their 60s, have been through the same but not even addressed it. These are CEOs and billionaires. So I just feel that take the power away from that, because वो रह जाता है यार. Somewhere, you know, it sort of changes you.
Wow. This
Sorry,
has
trigger
certainly
alert.
changed the course of the conversation we
trigger
were
alert.
having.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a moment.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sorry.
No, you don't
I'm
have
just
to be.
really sorry for.
No, you don't have to be. Absolutely not.
You know, growing up, a lot more kids than actually will ever talk about it have seen some form of
Absolutely.
abuse.
Absolutely.
And then some form of sexual behavior that is unacceptable. I'm 84 born, so I grew up in Mumbai in the 90s, and I've stayed in Mumbai till I was 23, and then I moved here. I know that kids from Mumbai who've grown up similar to me many of them have had similar experiences.
The ratio is embarrassing.
I don't know about the generation before ours. I don't know about our parents' generation. I don't know how it was.
It's there.
It's been there.
It's there. You'll be shocked if you speak about it.
To the same
Yeah.
frequency, to the same
I
level.
can promise you there's an auntie, there's an uncle, there's a didi in your family right now. If you speak up, they will come forward and say, yaar, mere saath bhi.
But then, you know, why wasn't that advice or that experience, you know, had that been shared, had that learning from that been shared, wouldn't it have helped the next generation? And then us not speaking is not going to help the next generation.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is why I speak about it. I've also found a center, you know, blaming people. They didn't know better. Our parents, the problem with the genesis of this, it goes way back. You know, when it comes to parenting mistakes, when it comes to understanding your child. I remember I was invited to speak at one of these, career things. And I was pleasantly surprised to have the longest line of kids after I performed. Ki mere bete ko comedian banna hai. And then I spoke about depression. I battled it. And I say battled because that's the best way to say it. I battled it, I won. And this auntie came up to me and she's like, बेटा ये तो तुम बात करते हो ना depression, ये नई चीज़ें हमारे टाइम पे नहीं होता था. And I said, auntie, what you've just said is like literally put a stamp on what I was saying. Ki people don't realize that they're going through mental issues, they're going through so much. And we're in a different world right now. Yeah. Look at this world. The speed at how we are sort of consuming things. Back in the day, to answer your question, back in the day, they didn't know better. And my only request to parents is that if a child comes to you, if your child comes to you and says, I have this problem, listen to the child's problem. It's not your problem. If a child comes up to you and say, Dad, I'm gay, don't say, Arey, maine kya kukaram kiye honge? What is wrong with my parenting that the child is gay? You don't go to a doctor and say, Doctor, yahan dard ho raha hai. Doctor will say, mujhe bhi yahan dard ho raha hai. It's not going to work. So my only request to the parents is grow up, you know, understand your child. तुम्हारा बच्चा अलग है, पर वो बोलते हैं ना हमारे टाइम पर be different but like that, be different but like be like that child. So वो unfortunately I've had a big fight with this whole concept because I was against it. You know, once you make a mistake, twice it's a choice. So if you choose to not understand your child, I just did a series with Karan Johar. I just posted.
I did catch a glimpse of it.
And it was a brilliant series because there has been really messing up, yaar. You know, wo galat tha, yaar. Yeah. So I'm not going to whitewash it and say, no, it's fine. It's not fine.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's not fine. Like I said, people at 60 are now realizing कि यार मुझे anxiety attacks हुए थे. ओह अच्छा वो anxiety attack था, तो मैं ठंडा पानी क्यों पी रहा हूँ? मुझे यहाँ दर्द होता है, मैं ठंडा पानी पी के feel better. Like ये जो नुस्खे बनाते हैं ना, ये ज़रूरी नहीं है. And now people need to understand that if mentally you're not fine, you're not fine. There's enough people who will come forward and support you. तो यार guilt रखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है आपको कि अच्छा पेरेंट्स ने ये किया, मैंने ये किया, वो किया. देखो यार, later on in my life I understood एक चीज़, ये फिल्म चल रही है, ये मेरी लाइन्स है, ये उनकी लाइन्स है और ये उनकी लाइन्स है. सब अपनी अपनी लाइन्स बोल रहे हैं, सब अपना कैरेक्टर प्ले कर रहे हैं, तभी फिल्म आगे चलेगी. अगर वो मेरी लाइन बोलेंगे तो फिल्म आगे नहीं चलेगी ना. So I made peace with that कि चलो, you had a choice. Now I know how I'm going to be with my children. You know, I'm not going to say I'm going to be the most amazing parent. But
You will make your own unique mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. But where I am today, I will definitely be responsible with feelings.
See, this is what I'm saying, Nitin.
Yeah.
This is you, right? This
Yeah.
is the guy that I have liked talking to in the last few days.
Yeah.
But this is not the guy I thought you were.
Yeah.
You know?
You reach a point now where you decide कि चलो अभी सक्सेस हो गया तो अभी हम दिखा सकते हैं.
Is that what
I
it
was
is?
waiting. I was waiting.
Is that what it is?
I was waiting that when I become somebody, I will show myself.
Why?
Because people don't listen otherwise.
You think there's no room for feelings people? There's no room for sensitive people?
I always say to heal more, you have to feel more. And people are just interested in healing, not feeling. आपको advice आपका watchman भी दे सकता है. If you're listening, he can change your life. But we are in a place where we choose where inspiration comes from. That is wrong. Inspiration comes from everywhere. But we choose. अरे इसकी कौन सुनेगा? वो वाला देखते हैं. अरे इसके तो followers है. ये सही कह रहा है.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that, like I said, like I have been in places where my dog has inspired me. Like having a pet has been, I think, one of my best moments of my life, where I spend a lot of time looking at my pet and understanding that it's a childlike innocence, you know, looking at a fly, looking in the same direction every day, coming to me when I wake up with the same kisses, with the same pattern. Why can't we do the same?
Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall.
Let's take a moment for Marshall.
Yeah, oh, Marshall.
So how old is Marshall?
Marshall is 3 now.
And you've had him forever?
Yeah, I mean, 3. My first dog.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah.
So this is your first experience.
First experience with the pet, and again, thanks to my wife.
Has it helped you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. To be able to communicate with something which has no voice, which has no language, really makes you patient. It really makes you understand कि भाई ये भी एक दुनिया है.
And has he helped you to learn how to love?
Yeah, absolutely. Like again, kudos to my wife. She's come into my life, and I still remember, and this is something I want to tell people again. So she met me when I was in a very low phase. I was going through depression. I had a bad breakup. I had a breakup which I didn't expect, you know, and I sort of went spiraling down. And you know, in today's world, you don't find people who will say कि चलो ये बंदा depressed है and all that. Let me see where it goes. Now people are like, listen, it's not working. Don't disrespect me. You know, I don't need this baggage to find a new guy and all that. So I got married in my 40s, which again, I tell people, like, don't worry about that old school thinking कि आपका age होता है marriage का. So not all that.
So you've disrupted in every area possible.
हाँ, मैं क्या करूँ यार, मैं हूँ यार, मतलब मैं अलग हूँ यार, मैं क्या करूँ? मैं कोशिश करता हूँ, सच में, मैं really कोशिश करता हूँ कि, पर मैं हूँ. So
tell us more about your wife. What's her name?
Aarti.
So Aarti entered your life right after you had a terrible breakup.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were dealing with depression.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
role has Aarti played?
मैं जो था ना, she was me.
What do you mean?
I manifested this moment. There was a point in my life where I was in a lot of pain, and I remember looking up and saying कि बस मेरा हो गया, अब तू भेज. कहता ना, यहाँ से आवाज आती है ना, पेट से.
Yeah.
तो मैं पेट से मैं आवाज दी कि भाई अब तू भेज, तू बनता है ना, तू भेज. And right there, and the person showed up and took care of me. And I always say this, that, you know, sometimes if you don't find motivation inside, look for it outside. हम थोड़े selfish हैं, हम मन को बहुत मारते हैं. Like You will not do half of the things for Karishma. I will not do half the thing to Nitinn. But we'll do it. You will do it for your husband. I will do it for my wife. So if you can't find motivation inside, it's okay to find it outside. Let it come outside.
So you began to want to live again.
I remember Tuesday morning I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I said, Aarti cannot live with a depressed man. And then if you ever speak to my therapist, she said, she always says this. She's like, you came with a vengeance to get better. And I said, you know what? This woman cannot live with a depressed man. She doesn't deserve it.
So who came first, the therapist or Aarti?
The egg and the chicken. Aarti.
Aarti came first and then your...
And she supported me. She said, baby, I got you.
Yeah. So that's what motivated you to go get help?
You do what it takes to get better. मुझे पता भी नहीं था यार. I'm telling you, one of my best friends, Akash Mehta, a comedian, he came to my house and said, bro, you're depressed. You're going through depression. I said, कुछ नहीं होता है. He's like, bro, I went to depression. I can see it. मैं 12 दिन घर से निकलता नहीं था. You know, I just be like... So, the problem is half of the time you have a pattern which you don't realize.
Yeah.
So it took somebody again from outside to come and tell me, but bro, you're going through depression. Do you even know? So I was like, ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है. Like, again, so second-hand feelings, second-hand emotions, second-hand voices in my head, that sort of, took over. So then I found myself speaking like those people. Depression कुछ नहीं होता, पागल है क्या है? आइसक्रीम खा ठीक हो जाएगा. आइसक्रीम से डिप्रेशन नहीं होता है यार. बैंकॉक जाने से डिप्रेशन ठीक नहीं होता. So, like I said, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
It's been a journey, and I just feel that now probably I went through it because now I want to talk about it. Like I want to tell everybody, please, the times are tough. We have just come out of a pandemic. Please get therapy.
Yeah.
Go to a therapist.
You know, I'm listening to you and I'm suddenly reminded of this story I've heard years ago. This man goes to the therapist and says, there's no one, nothing can help me. I'm really, really depressed. And the therapist said to him, I'll tell you what, you need a night out. They go to this part of the town. There's a circus there. There's an incredible clown in there. There's absolutely no one in town who can hold their laugh back when he performs. And he's like, I don't think that's going to help because I'm that clown.
Yes.
So you've definitely, come out of that space. That's good to see in a big way. Are you not feeling that?
No, I'm not out of it. I'm still in it.
Really?
I'm again going for therapy very regularly. It's a gym.
Tell me this though, Nitinn, because often do you find yourself spiraling backwards?
See, the thing is, it's not backwards. It's all over the place. Sometimes when you spiral, so there's an amazing saying that kabhi na you take 2 steps back so that you can jump farther.
Yes.
You can that. So I have an inquisitive mind. I have a very different way of thinking about things. I'm very sharp. There's too much happening. Like right now, as we are speaking, I have a clear vision of what's happening on that side. Even though I'm not, but I'm quite switched on if something is happening. That comes with a price. That you can't switch off the noise. And you need to be your best friend. You need to be your best friend. And if you don't mind, I have a beautiful story which I was reminded many years ago. IHS. I don't know if the guy is still around. People who know IHS will probably relate to this. There was a guy called Kamlesh.
Okay.
Kamlesh was a short guy. And I remember, us as children. So Kamlesh, we were in a co-ed school. तो पहले लड़कियां आती थी सुबह को, फिर हम जाते थे. But the buses used to pass. And Kamlesh को सब गाली देते थे. कि अरे ये वो. And he used to be very calm, always smiling, waving and all that. And as kids, we were quite irresponsible. We were like, अरे यार क्या फर्क पड़ता है अरे. We used to say a lot of politically incorrect things. We didn't know better. And I remember he used to always in the afternoon go to his cabin, which had one AC. Those porta cabins that they have in Alkus?
Yes.
That one. That was his cabin, Kamlesh. And he used to go in and then he used to do his thing. And we used to think like, kuch to kar raha hai. Maybe he's watching porn. Or kya kar raha hai? So we used to think, ek sale ko pakdenge and then we'll blackmail him. We have done this for almost 3 weeks. Sir, ice cream kha raha hai. पता है कौन सी वाली? इग्लू आइसक्रीम आती थी, गोल वाली.
हाँ.
इग्लू आइसक्रीम ऐसे खुलता था. It used to come with a spoon inside. वो बैठ के इग्लू आइसक्रीम खा रहा है. हम बोल रहे ये साला ये कर क्या रहा है. So I remember one of these moments where we cornered him and we said, bro, like, we're trying to catch you do shit so we can make fun of you. And he said, भैया मैं आइसक्रीम खाता हूँ. Like, आइसक्रीम? Like, आपको पता है मैं सुबह से शाम गाली खाता हूँ. दोपहर में मैं अपने लिए एक चीज़ करता हूँ, मैं आइसक्रीम खाता हूँ. एंड ये आइसक्रीम जो मैं खाता हूँ ना, इसकी वजह से मैं सेन. नहीं तो मैं आप सबको मार देता. लाइक ही लिटरली से मैं आप सबको मार देता. आप सब मेरे को रोज गालियां देते हैं, आप मुझे जानते भी नहीं है. एंड दैट्स व्हेन वी सॉर्ट ऑफ वर वेरी एम्बैरेस्ड एंड वी रियलाइज दैट यू नीड टू फाइंड दैट आइसक्रीम once a week. Find your ice cream, have it shamelessly, celebrate it, you know.
So who are you today, Nitinn?
Who am I?
Yeah, what is the sum of your highs and lows?
I'm abundant. I am not the product, I'm the factory. That's who I am. I am unapologetically myself. I am unapologetically vulnerable. I will be who I am. I will walk the path. I will get screwed over again and again. But that's not my fault. I'm not going to change who I am. I can't. And that's why people, you know, would probably gravitate towards me, will speak to me. I don't shy away now anymore. I really don't care what people think. Yeah, I really don't.
Did you care?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. But I think you'll agree. You're also, you know, a self-made individual. People who are self-made, na, there is a weird pressure कि आप किसी को प्लीज नहीं भी कर रहे हो ना, पर आपको करना है, आपको दिखाना है, दुनिया को दिखाना है. यार दुनिया देख नहीं रही, दुनिया को फर्क नहीं पड़ता, अपने को दिखाओ.
Obviously, what you've gone through as a young man, there's no words. There's no words for me to express how heavy that sits on me. I'm a mom of 3 kids. Definitely one of my greatest concerns is their safety.
Of course.
You know, to the point where their father, my late husband, and I would often talk about how we'll, you know, never send them to sleepovers. We'll be very careful parents. You know, these are things that as parents you discuss at home, you know. And then one day when I had to, you know, looking at possibly now having a new life partner. Yeah. And one of the biggest reasons why I was not able to picture myself marrying again was the safety of my children. How can I trust my most precious, you know, gifts with anyone who's not that person that had seen these dreams with me, that I trust completely, that was on board with me, all of those things, you know. So I know how important it is, and I know how violating it is.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm part angered, you know, by what you've shared. And I'm part old enough to understand that, yeah, that's the world we live in, you know.
That's how it is.
But yeah, so that I'm glad that you've taken that into what kind of parent you're going to be, you know, the kind of uncle that you already are.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
To all the kids around you, you know, the entire incident around the accusations of plagiarism.
Yeah.
Now that led to you realizing and ownership and, you know, acceptance of what had happened and apologetic about what had happened. What were some of the other learnings from that experience that go into your future now?
You are not a rat. So don't be in the rat race. It's all I've sort of tried my best to understand. I tell myself every day, and really celebrate yourself here. You know, I started this thing which I do myself, and if people watching can also do it. It's called a well done cake, where I force people when I do a live to once a week, once a month, get yourself a cake. You order yourself a cake. Yeah. Not a slice, not a small thing, not this. Don't compromise. Get yourself a cake and write, well done, Karishma. Well done, Nitinn. And cut it. Cut it. Cut it in all your glory. And that's what I've sort of learned now. That you have to celebrate yourself, yeah.
I loved something that you shared with me on our phone call before we sat down to shoot this, which was that, you know, after that incident happened and, you know, after you've learned from it, you saw someone up on stage using one of your jokes.
Yeah.
Please, what was it that happened after that?
नहीं यार, so ये चीज़ें होती है. Like even if you look at Robin Williams, there are so many cases of plagiarism and all that stuff. When I had two choices, to be bitter or better, I chose better because I am that person.
So you didn't. Your instinct was not to go troll the guy because you had suffered merciless trolling.
Because वही मैं वो समझ गया कि भाई, if I am being the bully to the bully, who am I?
So what did you say then? Did you say anything?
I just told him like, bro, don't do that. Bro, trust me, don't do that because I've been through it. I told him very openly. I was like, bro, I've been through it. तू खुद बहुत से joke लिख सकता है.
I like that. I like when you said that he can write better jokes than that.
Of course. What is humor? Humor is something that you'll relate to now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's a great... See, humor is, I think, is the actual vaccine. When somebody is humorous, when somebody is able to make you laugh, there's an instant connect with that person. Like it should go on your CV. Like it's a prize-winning thing that you have. And when you have that, sometimes when you fall in the trap of, getting there faster, that's when you will falter. So everybody goes through it. Everybody. People who are watching, I'm sure they will not agree. You don't have to agree, but everybody goes through it. Everybody. Every person is capable of writing a joke which somebody's already written. That's the problem with relative humor, observational comedy. Like right now, if this falls, you will talk about it on stage, I will talk about it on stage. We'll have different versions or the same version.
Yeah.
But then, is that your joke or mine?
Yeah.
But eventually I'll be like, hey, Karishma, that was my bit. How are you doing it? It doesn't have to be so heavy, but you got to be responsible. Research.
I think that is really one of the key takeaways from this conversation. I think for anyone who's watching this and maybe a budding improv or, stand-up artist, that should definitely be the takeaway, that don't shy away from expressing yourself. Who knows, you might be better than the guy you're thinking of copying from or stealing from.
The problem is, हम realize नहीं करते, but today we celebrate a lot of wrong things.
Like?
मैं कॉपी करके पास हो गया. कितने लोग शान से बोलते हैं. Is it right? So अगर आप कॉपी करके पास हो रहे हो और एक बंदा फेल हो रहा है, आप चीट करके उसकी जगह ले रहे हो, राइट?
Yeah, absolutely.
So वो जेनेसिस हमारा थोड़ा रॉन्ग चल रहा है काफी टाइम से, and that's where the confusion comes in.
Speaking of things, celebrating things that are possibly wrong, have you ever celebrated a win that you paid for or that you winged in your favor wasn't a genuine win? Because those things also are prevalent and all the more in entertainment.
I've not celebrated it.
Okay.
I have, that's the game of the business. And I've not celebrated it as such. I've said, chalo, theek hai.
But you've participated in this.
Of course.
Yeah. What does it do though? If you also know that it's not real, why go after something that's not real?
So the problem with this is that the world outside
believes that it's authentic.
And आपका जो कहते हैं ना कि चलो, let's say now you can go for an interview in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. Would you go? Would you go like that for an interview?
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
I think because there's a decorum, there's an understood, unspoken decorum.
It's unspoken, which means who spoke it, we don't know. It's understood, don't know by whom. So authenticity ना, वो starting से थोड़ा flawed है. The system actually, मैं कह रहा हूँ ना कि बाबू, be yourself, but like वर्मा जी का बेटा. But be yourself. So वो starting से ही हमारा थोड़ा authenticity का ना थोड़ा हिला हुआ system है.
I feel like it definitely is something to consider either removing oneself from and...
मुश्किल है.
Yeah, really?
You can't.
Why?
So today, if you have a client who wants to book you for a brand, he's going to look at your followers. He's going to say, oh, you've got less followers.
Do awards get you followers?
Yeah, of course.
Accolades get you
of course.
Clients and gigs?
Of course. I'm not attached to it anymore because it's fake. Kal Instagram band ho gaya na.
Yeah.
Or possible.
You'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
I hope you will be fine, right?
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But this is where I have a problem with the algorithm. You'll watch me. Okay, as a show, or these guys will watch me, come to my show and say, "Arey yaar, he's damn funny." Yaar. Now they'll go back and follow me. They'll say, "Arey, he's not got that many followers. See, he's not that funny."
Acha.
So what you've done is, you realize you have discounted God-given senses. Your eyes, your ears, that you heard me and saw me and you said, this guy's damn funny. Yeah, he's a great comedian. You've discounted that. You've gone on Insta and you've said, he's not got 1 million, so he must not be that great. And that's where we are stuck.
Yeah.
We are just, we're a number.
Instagram is like the cover of a beauty magazine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fully made up. Nitin, thank you for...
No, thank you.
For reaching out.
I should have given a trigger warning, but मैं तो चलता फिरता ट्रिगर हूँ यार. तो किसकी warning दूंगा?
No, I'm glad you felt comfortable enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
To open up and speak up, and I think that's largely to do with being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to have met someone authentic. That is pretty much the heart and soul of this show, is conversations with real people. Great conversations come from real people, is what I believe. So yeah, I'm happy to have met this Nitin. Once again, take two.
Take two. Yeah.
Happy to have met this Nitin.
Yeah.
And I want to keep meeting
we'll be in
you.
touch.
And,
we'll be in touch.
You know, this, I do think niceness is lost in this world. I think the basics are lost in this world. But they're important. And I have decided to just bring it back. So like you said, you know, when we're picking people to talk to on this show as well, we're not going to see kitne followers and then pick them. We're not. You know, it's like, no, I know this person and I know that this is something we want to do on the show. That's it. So we're bringing, in our own way, in our small way, we're bringing that authenticity
like,
back.
Whatever I've watched of what you guys are doing, it's, like I told you, I use the word breathe. आपके एपिसोड में मेरे को breathing सुनाई देती है. And breath is the essence of life. We don't breathe enough. We feel the pressure to say something. Yeah. Don't. Protect yourself. That's the if I want to end this with anything, I want to say, please protect yourself like you will protect your own child. There's one person who's been with you throughout your life, which is you.
Yeah.
Do not compromise. Protect yourself. And we're all good, man. And come buy tickets for my show.
Ulterior motive.
Protect me also. Achha, there was no plug on that.
Please do it. Please do it. In fact, why don't you give away some tickets? Put a cherry on top.
वो मैंने छोड़ दिया. मेरे हाथ में नहीं आता. आना तो आओ, नहीं आओ तो मत आओ. मैं घर तक तो पहुंच ही जाऊंगा मैं.
Nitin, I don't want to say I've enjoyed this. I
enjoyed it.
It's like I said, you've left me feeling part angry, but that's not on you. But I'm very, very happy, and I hope that this will be now, after 15 years of knowing you, this will be the beginning of a different kind of getting to know you all over again.
Absolutely.
Lots of love to Aarti.
Yes.
She sounds like an absolute rock star. And Marshall.
She's damn hot, huh? My wife is damn hot.
I don't think, I didn't think she wouldn't be. But, you know, listen, I think every couple should be fans of each other.
Yes.
You've said that. You're the first one to say it on the show.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I'm going to remember many, many things that you've shared today for a long, long time.
Thank you for letting me share. I appreciate you.
And that's our episode. Hey, Karish, this one's taken some turns and plot twists have happened that I didn't see coming. And that's pretty much the man here.
They're so worried. It's like, he's a comedian aaya tha. He's mind boggled us with, इसमें comedy कहाँ था? But yeah.
इसमें comedy नहीं थी, लेकिन इस comedian में कोई कमी भी नहीं है. He's
comedian. कोई कमी नहीं है.
He's definitely someone that I've always seen him as, you know, guy that's been on top. And I think he's going to continue to do many, many incredible things beyond comedy as well. I think you're on fire, and all the best to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching.
Hi, this is Nitin Mirani, and watch me on Hey Karish. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. It's important. Do it now.